In a place called Estes Park, behind the famous Stanley Hotel in Colorado, there is a frozen Norwegian man named Bredo. He's been on ice since 1989. In 1993, his grandson shipped him over from Norway, packed in dry ice, with the dream of starting a cryonics facility. That facility never happened, and in 1994, his grandson was deported. Grandpa, frozen, was permitted to stay, and for decades, he existed in a shed being tended to by volunteers. Now, if you took a deeply bizarre homemade cryogenetics experiment and mixed it with Mardi Gras, you'd get one of Colorado's most famous winter festivals. It's called Frozen Dead Guy Days. It goes for 3 days, and every March, thousands of people show up to celebrate him in one of the weirdest festivals in the world. There's live music, a pub crawl, a polar plunge, and most famously, the coffin races. So here's my question. Bredo didn't plan any of this. I'm pretty sure nobody asked him. And one decision by one grandson and his afterlife has become a festival with a beer tent. So, what's going to happen to you? Welcome to Once in a Lifetime, the Death Tech podcast. I'm Nook O'Dea, and I'm the founder of Adios, a platform that helps people get their death admin sorted, which means I spend a lot of my time talking about all things death. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Death is being disrupted by machines, by money, by medicine, by AI, and almost none of the paperwork is keeping up. That gap between what technology can do for you after you die and what you've actually agreed to in writing, well, that gap's where the drama lives. And this show lives in that gap. Every episode, we take one corner of the death industry and find the weirdest true things that are happening around the world. It's not to be morbid. It's curious, and it opens up a whole new perspective on what our inevitable end might look like. We only get one crack at this, so let's take a good look at our options. In today's episode, 3 acts. Act 1, a fortune that died with its owner. Act 2, people paying to be frozen. And Act 3, the companies that will resurrect you as a chatbot. Act 1, the $190 million password. In December 2018, Gerald Cotten, a 30-year-old founder of QuadrigaCX, Canada's biggest crypto exchange, died on his honeymoon in India. His death was surrounded by suspicion, especially after the accountants had a little look-see. Gerald, it turns out, was the only person with the keys to the exchange's cold wallets that apparently held close to $250 million. Now, this money belonged to 115,000 customers and was locked inside encrypted cold wallets that opened for exactly one man, and that man was no longer. Now, the story gets a little bit stranger because investigators later concluded that the exchange was also partly a Ponzi scheme, and there's a persistent chunk of the internet that believe Gerald isn't dead at all. Strangely, there was no autopsy, and rather than being returned to Canada following his death, he was buried in India. There've been multiple requests to exhume his body, and as far as conspiracy theories go, it's at least more plausible than most. I mean, think Melissa Caddick. Strip away the fraud, the honeymoon, the exhumation petitions, and a boring version of this story happens every single day. An estimated 1 in 5 of all Bitcoin is lost. And at a current value of around 90,000 Australian dollars, it's not insignificant. A decent share of that is dead people's money. American banking heir Matthew Mellon died in Cancun, Mexico, with $500 million in XRP crypto, leading to major complications regarding his estate. Now, due to his elite status, obscene fortune, powerful connections, and I'd imagine a very well-paid legal team, this crypto was eventually recovered, but not without complications or significant financial loss. So crypto has no customer service, no help desk. You can't fax a death certificate to the blockchain. No one can access your money but you. And that becomes a very costly problem the minute there stops being a you. Now, before you feel smug because you don't own crypto, this is coming for everything. Your money is increasingly just passwords. And statistically, the average person doesn't share this information with anyone because we've always been told not to. So if you want the local version, Australians are owed $2.7 billion in unclaimed money right now. Plus, there's another $19 billion in lost super on top of that. Some unknowable slice of it is dead people's money that will never be claimed simply because no one knows it's there. Act 2. The Big Chill. So back to Grandpa Bredo and the roughly 600 other people worldwide who are currently on ice or crypto preserved. They're stored at minus 196 degrees in liquid nitrogen, waiting for medicine to figure out how to cure them and somewhat ambitiously to unfreeze. Think about what happens when you freeze and defrost a lettuce. That's where we're at. At Alcor, Arizona, it costs $200,000 for the whole body, or $80,000 for just the head, which seems like, dare I say it, an even stranger option. But maybe, in the future, they will put an old head on new shoulders. This isn't just an American thing. Tomorrow Bio is in Europe and has been freezing Berliners for €200,000. And Australia? The Southern Hemisphere's first cryonics facility is in Holbrook, New South Wales, a town previously most famous for having a full-sized submarine parked in its main street, 400 kilometres inland from the nearest ocean. It's run by a not-for-profit called Southern Cryonics, and here's how it works. Shortly after you're declared dead, your blood is replaced with cryptoprotectants, which is essentially medical-grade antifreeze to stop ice crystals shredding your cells. You're then cooled to minus 196 degrees and stored in a vacuum-sealed tank of liquid nitrogen, upside down, because if the nitrogen level ever drops, your head stays the coldest, longest. The price, or more specifically how people pay for this, is pretty interesting. It costs around $150,000 to $170,000 to freeze the whole body, plus a yearly membership of around $350. Clients can pay with their life insurance policy. The beneficiary must be named as Stasis Systems Australia Limited. The most speculative bet against death ever is funded by the world's most boring product. There are 7 Australians in those tanks, waiting for the medicine to catch up. And just to be clear, no one in 100 has ever been revived. The science of unfreezing a human remains entirely theoretical. And here's another interesting part of this. To be crypto-preserved, you must be declared legally dead. The freezing can't start until the death certificate is signed, which means every frozen person is, in the eyes of the law, simply dead. Their will gets executed, their estate gets distributed, their super gets paid out. So, if they do wake up, they'll be broke. Not a brass razoo in hand. Act 3. Dead, but still posting. In 2015, a young tech founder was killed by a car in Moscow. His best friend, in her grief, couldn't stop rereading his text. So she did something that nobody had really done before. She fed thousands of his messages into a neural network and built a chatbot. His friends messaged her, Some found it beautiful, others were horrified and refused to touch it. The same bot, the same dead friend. Comfort for one person, unnerving for the next. That experiment eventually became Replica, an app with millions of users. The grief bot wasn't a side effect of the AI boom, it was one of the origin stories. 10 years on, the digital afterlife market is an industry heading towards $5 billion. In Korea recently, a grieving mother met a VR reconstruction of her 7-year-old daughter on national television. Kanye West gave Kim Kardashian a hologram of her dead father as a birthday present, and Tupac played Coachella 16 years after he's died. The dead have never been busier. So, who owns you once you're dead? Your texts, your voice memos, your face in 10,000 photos, that's training data for you, the chatbot. And in most of the world, legal protection on a dead person's data is approximately zero. Zip, nada. Which means the decision defaults to whoever holds your phone and has access to your online profiles. So that Russian tech founder never asked to be a chatbot. Brado never asked to be a frozen feature at a festival. And I guess the pattern of this entire episode is the same. The dead don't get a vote unless they cast it in advance and in writing. Before you go, here's one thing you can do today. It will take under a minute, costs nothing, and future you, or at least the people that love present you, will be very grateful. This week, send one message to your partner, your sister, your best mate, and say this: if I die and an AI company offers to bring me back as a chatbot, here is my answer. That's it. One text. And you've given it a witness. And look, if you're feeling ambitious while your phone's out, write down where your important passwords live. Not the actual passwords, just where. And that's the show. Next episode, composting. Not your food scraps, you. It's already legal in 14 American states, it's practiced in Germany, and as of last month, it's on the table here. Wood chips, straw, several weeks, and you come out the other side as soil for a memorial garden. It's another alternative in death tech. We'll find out how it works, what it costs, and why people are choosing this. That's next episode. For links to these stories, go to the show notes. Once in a Lifetime is an Adios production. I'm Nook O'Dea. Life's short, death happens, drama is optional. Adios.